There's a thing we do when we first meet young people coming into the program. We call it intrusive mentorship. From day one, we tell our scholars, the black and brown boys, that we are interested in every part of their life. What'd you eat for breakfast? What's your favorite video game? Who's your girlfriend? At first, it's a little uncomfortable, but it works. It signals that we care because we do. It signals trust. We establish up front that we're a family, often filling a void that didn't exist for many of the young men in our program. We establish a brotherhood. I grew up in Stockton and then Sacramento. My childhood was far from perfect, but I knew what it was like to have someone in your corner. I knew it was like to have someone to hear your dreams despite how outrageous they were. My dad was that person. When I was 8, I said, "Dad, I want to be president." He said, "Cool, Mike, let's do it." When I was 13, I said, "Dad, I want to play in the NFL." He said, "Cool, Mike, let's do it." He raised me and my siblings largely by himself. Sometimes we had enough, sometimes we didn't. But he was there. And he gave us permission to dream. There was never "you can't," only "let's do it." That was a game changer for me. I saw a lot of my friends, a lot of my family too, get tangled up in a system that sends far too many black and brown men to jail. I wanted a different path. I loved playing football, and I wanted to play linebacker in college, but I wasn't 6'3", so I knew I'd have to work hard. That's exactly what I did. I was recruited by 3 universities and decided to attend the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, UNLV. I'd only been there a couple weeks. I got a call from a buddy back home in Sacramento that said one of my friends was shot and killed. It was devastating. I instantly felt guilty. I was only 17, but I knew I was going to be okay. And I knew that so many of my friends back home wouldn't be. I made a promise to myself that I would finish college, come home and serve my community to make sure that my story was not an exception. Didn't know how, I didn't know when, but I knew I would do it. A couple of years later, in 2007, I was still in Las Vegas, and a friend invited me to hear this speaker who was coming through town. And this guy was talking about hope and change, and yes, we can. Man, I was like, oh man, this guy gets it. Because he was connecting justice to policy and action. He was connecting policy and action to the injustice that I saw every day within my community. And deep down, I knew even as good as Obama was, there were young people who I'd grown up with who were equally as talented. I had uncles and friends and cousins, black and brown men, that not only had potential, but had desire, the ability, the will to tackle some of the harder challenges we face in our communities. That's the untold story of the people where I grew up. Talented people who had so much to contribute, but nowhere to direct it. After spending 5 years working at the state capitol, I was ready to put the pieces together. So my best friend and I, Michael Casper, decided to start an organization called Improve Your Tomorrow. The why for us was clear. College creates the single best opportunity to achieve economic mobility. I will say it again because it's important. College creates the single best opportunity to create economic mobility. And young men of color, the folks I talk about who have so much potential, desperately needed that opportunity. And as Gil mentioned, it's working. We started with an annual budget of $10,000, and in 10 short years have grown it to $16 million. By the end of 2024, we'll be in 3 states and serve 6,000 young men of color every single year. 99% of the young men in our program graduate high school on time. Nearly 80% go to college. Our recent move to the Bay Area was a no-brainer. There's so much need, but yet so much potential here. And Tipping Point helped us to get here. Through the POC-led fellowship, I connected with so many phenomenal change makers who are doing the work. Their investment in leaders of color is transformative. I've had the honor of being part of multiple other fellowships, but this one is special. For the first time, I'm surrounded by other leaders who understand the challenges of being in this seat as a person of color. And honestly, just simply having a space to share our experiences. To see that we're not alone makes all the difference. It helped me go after new funding, gain access to new networks, and expand our potential. Our numbers are growing. Our impact is scaling. But our approach has always been very tailored, personal, and hands-on. I met Wesley Gilbert when he was 14 and already 6 feet tall. After joining Improve You Tomorrow, he told me he wanted to go to this basketball camp, but didn't have a ride. And honestly, it was the most he had said to me. He didn't ask for a ride, right? But I offered, right, to be able to take him. It was an hour each way for 2 weeks. I'd drive him at 7 a.m., and then my wife would pick him up in the afternoon. For Wesley, like so many Black and brown men, it takes hard work to gain their trust. We become hardened to learn to say, I don't need anything from anybody. That's not the case. But once we break through, brothers are committed to the program. They learn to ask for help. They want to give back. They want to serve. They want to be a part of what we're creating, a brotherhood. Today, after completing college at Sonoma State in 2022, Wesley is back at IYT, serving as a program manager in Vallejo, helping to get other young men of color to and through college. In fact, he recently said, Michael, one day, I want your job. So I told him, cool, Wesley, let's do it. Wesley, as part of our continued intrusive mentoring, please stand up. My 6'8" brother, I want to thank you for being one of the thousands of young men of color who have trusted Improve You Tomorrow. And I want to thank everyone here today for your support. Thank you.